So I'm sure you've already heard that the leader of the second largest party in South African politics has taken a step back. He will not be running for leadership in their April elective conference. In this video, I'm going to show you what's going on there and play you two short clips. But if you stay with me all the way till my biblical reaction, we're going to do just a quick SWOT analysis where the DA is possibly going, because South Africa will prosper. You ready? Okay, so let's dive in.
Against all the odds, a party that's once languished at 1.7% of the national vote, and I'm glad Bill Lambert's here because he will remember those days. That was a party that was then subsequently seen as a desolate shack, it was described, in the political landscape. And then subsequently seen as little more than a regional party. And then a party regarded as too arrogant and oppositional to play any national role, now carried the hopes and the dreams of our 3.5 million voters into national government for the first time ever. That we were able to get back to growth after the previous leader walked off the job. That we had the strategic foresight to reposition the party in anticipation of the coalition era. That we were able to negotiate our way into becoming a leading partner in South Africa's first ever democratically elected national multi-party government. And that we have since leveraged our influence in government to set South Africa determinately on a fundamentally better path. This is an achievement that will go down in history. In the long story of the DA and its predecessors, dating back to at least 1959, there is only one leadership era that will ever be remembered for marshalling our party across the Rubicon and international government. Only one, and it is this one.
So he then went on to announce that he's done.
And as I stood there looking out over South Africa's capital city, I realized it's mission accomplished for me. I have delivered on everything that I promised my party when I was first elected as federal leader back in 2019. I proudly picked up this party's banner when its internal polling was down to just 16%, and after the media declared the death of the DA. Built on a simple message that I believe that there was nothing wrong with the DA that couldn't be fixed by everything that is right with the DA. I worked hard with others who love our party to not only resurrect the party's fortunes, but we've also carried it to new heights. Previous chapters of our party's history were marked by the party becoming the official opposition and entering provincial government in the Western Cape. My term will be remembered for leading the DA into national government and putting South Africa on a new path to prosperity. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not the end of the road for the DA, and it's certainly not the end of the road for me. The way I see it is that there's an important next mission that beckons for our party, and that is to build upon my legacy and the DA's success in the GNU in order to turn our party into the biggest party in South Africa, so that we can lead future coalition governments at local, provincial, and national level. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is a mission for the next DA leader.
That is the mission for the next DA leader. Here's an interesting thing that Moeletsi Mbeki asked just before the 2024 elections.
I'm also especially glad that Helen Zille is still here with us. Her party is the second largest party in the country. Her party is very important to the future of South Africa. And I will try and explain why her party is important. I'm hoping that she will help us understand what is her party going to do to get to 51% of the votes.
What is her party going to do to get to 51% of the votes? So let's give you our SWOT analysis. Strengths. We just heard it from John Steenhuisen. The DA has gone from 1.7% to latest polling at 37% That is an ultimate strength. This has been a growing machine. And Steenhuisen says he took it from 16% to the percentage that they got in 2024. What that means is that there is some kind of institutional knowledge and expertise, ability to strategize in order for the party to grow. Second strength is that against all odds and all opinions, they have refused to play blackface. Because for the DA to have a strategy to try blacken up and get a blackface, what if Sivue Gwarube is busy organizing to fight and strategize and win? I'd like for her to do it without the DA doing anything to make that easier for her just because she's black. Now, Helen Zille is at the top of the party, but every time you deal with her, you can tell because she deserves to be there. Now, the worst thing in the world is when people assume a black guy, a black girl, like Soli Malatsi if he wanted, cannot sit down in his house and strategize how he's gonna win. Oh, but you know, white people won't want him to. If he can't beat white people in his own party, he's not ready to handle a GNU mess where you'll be stabbed in the back, set up for failure, messed about. So, the assumption that any black leader could not play the political game and rise to take over the DA without external assistance, and the DA has stayed true to their values there and have not allowed themselves to be judged by Marxist standards when they claim to be a social, classical, liberal party, because their principles say we don't do it. Their philosophy is a black guy, a white guy, an Indian guy, a colored guy can be smart enough, talented enough, strategic enough, and maybe just be blessed to be at the right place in the right time with certain circumstances to get in and take it. And I would love that the day that the DA has a black leader, the black leader gets to keep their success. So, I think their refusal to play blackface is actually a strength of the DA. Does it make everybody happy? No. Does it put them under fire? Absolutely. However, there are other strategies rather than playing blackface, and I think it's a mistake. I don't think it's a mistake we make because we're trying to mess things up. It's because we're trying to fix things up. But also what happens is when human beings are exposed to a certain operation too long, it becomes hard for us to imagine something working differently. And the DA has taken so much fire for believing that things could work differently. The fact that they stood up and said, no, we believe in our way, I think that's a strength. Number 3, the stepping back of Steenhuisen at this point gives them quite a necessary reset. Even how he said, I got you into the GNU, you take it forward from here. Now, I know there's been issues back and forth and fights, but the stepping out of Steenhuisen, possibly a strength and an opportunity for the party because they get to press the reset button. Let's talk about weaknesses. It's a strength and it's also a weakness. The DA has won the governance argument, the management argument. All the numbers prove it, and President Cyril Ramaphosa confirms it. Good management, I imagine, will go between 20 and 40%. And if you listened to Steenhuisen, he's aiming round about there. You get protest votes and votes of those who are tired, but you don't get the votes of those who are inspired. And the leadership race would mean going from we govern better to our future is better. And I believe that is a weakness, without taking away that they went from 1% to being close to 40% in the polls right now at this point. However, if we're answering Datemwele Tsimbegi's question, doesn't seem to be any kind of will to go to 51%. And maybe that's fine. Weakness number 2 is the stigma. The DA has been judged, and all the criticisms ignore the DA's philosophy. Their philosophy says it's not our job to take them out of shacks. Our job is to give them jobs and they can buy themselves houses. And they're being judged by people who believe the state must take people out of shacks, not the state must give people jobs. And how they are judged in the Western Cape is like this. We block the economy at the top because we believe economic and growth are apartheid denialist terms, which I'll talk about in the next video I'll do. And you are now stopping money from getting down to the Western Cape through the national economy. And the thinking is, why doesn't the DA use ANC philosophy to empower people in Cape Town? And if they fail to do it, it's because they're racist. And so that stigma is a weakness the DA carries, and we'll watch and see how the new leader who comes in, the grapevine says it's Hill Lewis, but hey, we watching, because you never know. We'll see how the new leader handles that stigma. The opportunity is to be a party that captures the imagination of the country. This reset may be a time for the DA to think about how to do that. Another opportunity is to see the new leader can take the DA from attacked to protected. And there are ways to do that to undercut envy because of the great management record. And that's something, who knows if the new leader can do it. And let's go to the threats. The biggest threat has been the GNU, while it's also been an opportunity to get rid of some of the stigma that if the DA gets close to power, apartheid is coming back. Because people have watched the DA, there's been no signs of apartheid is on its way emotionally for people, and people have gotten used to government also equals DA. Minister also could mean a DA minister. And so the GNU has been a great opportunity, but it's also a bit of a threat because the GNU has come with tough choices. The GNU came with the tough choice that was made, and I don't know what choice I would have made in the same position, but it was let the party that stands for anti-corruption overlook Phala Phala for the sake of the greater good. Tough call to make. Danger of it, the threat of it is, how does the DA stay nice enough to get people used to them being in power, yet not close enough to the ANC so that their corruption name rubs off on the DA? Now that's a threat. Now, the stepping down of Steenhuisen is a reset button because the new leader now could come in and do something about it, because there is also a sentiment with many people who feel that the DA is sold out. However, with that in place, the DA overall is still polling higher than it was in 2024 before going into the so-called GNU. And these things are tough because there is no perfect decision to go there. So we'll be watching to see what the DA does from April onwards when Steenhuisen does not take a third term. And at the end of the day, my concern is for South Africa to prosper. And the DA has a role to play in there because it is the second largest party in the country. So I imagine it's about to get dirty, it's about to get rough, and we'll see if Gordon Hill Lewis just walks in and strolls in and takes the seat as it's been spoken of in the media, or if there's any surprises that may come up and some people may go and fight for that job. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Also, will the new leader stay in the GNU, or will the new leader lead them back into opposition benches? So much is in the balance. Also, the ANC going to an elective conference too. So we don't know what is the future of the GNU. But it's going to be interesting times watching what happens with the change of leadership. My biblical reaction. Proverbs 29, where there is no vision, the people lose control, the people perish, the people cast off restraint. I know there's a context to this verse, but the principle still applies. Great management will take you between 20 and 40%. But to go up above that, you need vision. You need to inspire people, to show people a future that they can believe in, to tap into hearts and not just minds, to empower people psychologically before you do it with policy. South Africa is still waiting for vision. We need a dream that we can all get behind. When that happens, control will come back to our people. So, those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours below. No man can serve two masters, because either you love the one and hate the other, or you'll despise the one and honor the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx, so let's make history together. Don't miss my next video. It's off the wall.